see the difference. There's also a 1956 Cadillac that is there that we might try to get as well. So pretty much this one is like the top of the line Cadillac you can get. Alright, so I'm back working on the Cadillac. So I'm gonna try to get all this parts out of the trunk and then see what we have. So that way when we go back to the lady's house, we can grab some parts to see if she has anything left over that we maybe have missed. Trying to find the keys in this thing because there's no keys in it. If not, I'm gonna have to try to find some. But I'll take you guys through all the parts and stuff that we have and then see if we find anything cool in the trunk. But first, I'm gonna wash this thing because it's been sitting outside for who knows how long. Here's a better look at the paint before I pressure wash it. But you know, it's not that bad. It's just been sitting for a long time. I really want to see what this top does. I didn't realize this was a vinyl top, which isn't, I wouldn't pick it just because of the moisture underneath, but it doesn't seem like it's that terrible. So we'll see. And then I also put the headlights in. I found them in the back. They're just in with a few screws. They're not wired up or anything, but just to make it look a little better. It looks a whole lot more complete now that the headlights are in. It looks like a pretty nice car. So as you can see, the paint definitely has been repainted, but it doesn't look like it's in that great of shape, or they did that great of a job. But I'm gonna have to be pretty careful when I pressure wash it because there's all these kind of chips around the trim here, and it's bubbling. I don't know if that's really like just because it's been sitting for so long and water has been sitting under the trim, or if it's because the paint job was just done not the greatest. But I mean, there's a bunch of little spots around the whole thing that I don't want to hit directly with the pressure washer. But anyway, so I'm gonna try to see what this thing looks like whenever it's pressure washed. You can see how it's just been caked with mud and stuff for sitting. I believe she said it's been at her place for 10 years, and obviously it's been off the road for longer than that, so we're gonna see what it does. It probably look pretty good. So let's spray this thing down. All right, look how good this paint looks. It actually is not that bad, except for this spot, which I don't know what happened here. And it's really hard to tell. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but you see these runs? That's like in the paint. Like it's like you could feel it with your hands. It looks like something, it literally looks like you had a paint can that fell over on it, which sucks because it looks like you could pressure wash it off, but I don't know what that is. And there's this kind of stuff. You see those like speckles? I thought that was mold, but it's just, it doesn't come off. It's like paint also. It's like black spray paint. But like, look at this difference in the trunk. That comes off and it looks like it's almost the same thing, but this stuff does not come off. It really blows. But anyway, look at the roof. This is the stuff that I did so far, and that's what it looked like before. You can see the difference. So coming out pretty good. That's what it looks like from far back. All right, so we're pulling all the junk out of the back of the Cadillac, and we want to see what we have and then what we don't have. So we're pulling the seats out, and then we're going to start cleaning out the trunk. The seats are in really good shape. There's not even a rip on them or anything. They're very nice shape. Just got the back bumper out, the other half of it. So let's see if we can find anything cool in the trunk and see how good a shape these interior panels are. Some of them are, you know, they can probably be put back together, but they're just not in the greatest of shape, unfortunately, with the way that he stored this stuff, but we will see. All right, so I pulled the back seat out, and you can kind of see how good a shape this car's in. I mean, for sitting in the grass that long, I don't believe it was inside very much. And when the guy that we got it from found it, it was in a parking garage, so I guess it was under some cover. But the floor and everything is really good shape. I mean, it's dirty, but the metal and everything seems pretty good. So we'll see how the trunk looks whenever we get all the junk out of there. I know there's a little bit of holes in the trunk, but I don't think it's really that bad. So this is I feel like it's a really solid car for somebody if they want to restore it, or if they just want to make a good driver. It has some good bones, so definitely kind of a neat look underneath this thing. Since it's been sitting for so long, I was kind of nervous to see how, if we lifted up the floor or the carpet, see if there's any holes, but doesn't seem to so far. So here's a look in the trunk. A lot of stuff, but you can see you know, there are some holes, but you know, that's not terrible. We can fix that. You know, it's not too bad. I mean, you would think water would sit down in like the spare tire hole like this, but you know, it's not perfect. But for sitting for that long and the way we found it, I feel like it's not in too bad a shape. So I'm gonna go through all this junk, see what we got, see where it goes. Luckily everything is labeled, so we can kind of figure that out pretty easily, and then try to put this thing back together. All right, well, you can get a better look at what was in the trunk. It's really, really unfortunate that it was stored the way that it was. Just when we found the car, the trunk lid was open because I assume that he doesn't have the key for the trunk lid. So if you latch it, you know, it'll lock. And it's a shame because I bet you when they took all this out that this stuff was in really good shape, but just from sitting in the weather for so long, I mean, look, this entire seam is broke and it's just really torn up. The bottom of every single panel is just really frayed. I mean, it's just a shame because these were probably really good shape in relation to the rest of the car. So I'm gonna have to go through all this. Luckily everything's labeled so I can kind of piece it together, but man, I wish he had the key, because that would have probably saved that interior. Here's the trunk. Likewise, I bet water probably sat here and rusted this out some. It's not, I mean, I could probably fix that. Not too hard to do. But, you know, it could have been saved, I would think, if water never sat there, because the rest of this trunk looks like it's in great shape. The whole car looks like it's in really good shape. So, anyway, I'm gonna try to clean this trunk out, get all the leaves out of it. I mean, it looks like it's been open for so long. So, and then try to piece together the interior. See, like this one, I mean, if it wasn't sitting outside for so long, this probably wouldn't have been terrible, but it's just all stained with water damage and stuff. So I'm gonna try to just clean it up and then put it back in, you know, at least it'll be complete. And then if somebody wants to finish it and you know, redo all the interior pieces, then they can do that. But at least they know where everything's supposed to go. Because I mean, like the whole dash and everything and the headliner is in pretty decent shape. So I'm gonna start trying to piece it together and see how far we get. All right, well, I got the back seat put back in. It's in really good shape, but it's kind of cool how they have like armrests on each side, and they're in the trunk. But I think I'm gonna do another full video on putting the entire interior back together and cleaning it up. That way we can get a really detailed view of how it goes back together in the process that it's gonna take to put it all back together. So this is what it looks like now, but we'll see you guys on the next episode where we actually put this thing completely back together. Also, don't worry, we have not forgotten about the F250. It's still here. It's acting as some storage now for the Cadillac parts. But I just got a bunch of boxes in the mail for parts that we're gonna use to put this thing back together also. So I got the floor pieces in here, so I can weld those in and make a video about that. And then I just got in today all of the new brake parts for the car, so that way we can get this thing running and driving and stopping, so that way we can actually drive it more than just around the block. So that's gonna be fun, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode.